News, a vote that impacts the future of Brooklyn Park.
I don't think we're making a 25 or 30-year decision. I think we're making a 100-year decision.
Plus, a close call for a Crystal police officer, and it wasn't the first time. But first, a shooting investigation where a gun permit holder is believed to have killed an armed robbery suspect. 12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. A shooting in Brooklyn Park is sure to add fuel to the gun rights movement.
Police say it appears a man with a firearms permit survived an exchange of gunfire by killing an armed robbery suspect. Eric Nelson is live in Brooklyn Park with more. Eric?
Alex and Mike, the exchange of gunfire happened around 8 p.m. Monday night on this quiet street just a couple blocks from Brooklyn Boulevard. A 20-year-old man died in the gun battle. It was a violent exchange that lasted just a few seconds.
All information right now leads us to believe that it was a random robbery, that this is a random event.
The shooting occurred outside this house on the 7500 block of Imperial Street. The shooter, who had a permit to carry a gun, shot the apparent robber in the driveway. That man then crossed the street and died in the parking lot of an apartment complex.
Our investigation at this point has been corroborated with witnesses and evidence at the scene, and that does appear as what occurred.
Brooklyn Park Police and the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office continue to investigate the shooting.
The information we're releasing now is the preliminary information to make sure that the public understands we're not looking for anybody. We believe we have everybody involved in this incident, and we're going to piece it together, and our goal is after the investigation is complete, we'll present it to the Hennepin County Attorney for review.
2 guns were recovered at the scene. No charges have been filed at this time.
In this particular case, we're still gathering the facts to piece it together, and our goal would be to give it to the Hennepin County Attorney's Office for review, determine if it was justified or if there should be charges.
Alex and Mike, police say they received several 911 calls after the shooting. One witness told me she heard a pop and thought it was a car backfiring. Reporting live in Brooklyn Park, I'm Eric Nelson, Channel 12 News.
All right, Eric, thank you very much. It was a close call for a Crystal police officer on Tuesday morning.
Lieutenant Peter Underthun had to do some quick thinking to get out of harm's way. Here's reporter Sonia Goins.
Yeah, it was a little interesting.
Lieutenant Peter Underthun has been on the Crystal Police Force for 12 years, but the patrol supervisor almost didn't make it in today.
It was pretty close, yeah.
He was on his way to work, driving eastbound on 94 between Highway 101 and 81 in Rogers, when he spotted a crash on the westbound side of the highway.
There was a driver that had gone through the curve, and his car skidded. He spun out and hit the cable barrier.
Lieutenant Underthun and a Good Samaritan stopped to help the driver, whose vehicle stalled in the third lane of traffic.
And I blocked that lane, turned on my lights, and attempt to get the drivers to slow down a little bit and move over.
While assisting the driver, Lieutenant Underthun saw something he didn't expect to see.
I think we all kind of saw at the same time this big box truck started skidding in the curve.
That truck driver lost control, and dash cam video shows the truck on the shoulder, almost clipping the squad car, Lieutenant Underthun and others.
I kind of had to stop and think, which way is he going and which way should I run?
Luckily, they got out of the way in the nick of time.
And the direction he was heading, he would have swept through my squad, pushed all of that into us, and we would have all been pinned by a big mass of truck and vehicles coming at us.
Unfortunately, incidents like this aren't new to Lieutenant Underthun. He's been hit on 2 separate occasions doing traffic stops.
I was hit at 50 miles an hour in my squad about 3 years ago, and then I've been hit on foot by a driver also. This is probably 6-7 years ago on a traffic stop.
Lieutenant Underthun has 2 words for motorists: slow down.
You need to be able to react and stop, and obviously in this case he did react, but he wasn't able to stop.
Sonia Goins, 12 News.
The accident victim was not badly hurt. Police also want to remind motorists to move over one lane when they see emergency vehicles pulled over.
The rising cost of college may be holding back some students from pursuing a degree. Right now, the average debt load in Minnesota for those graduating with a 4-year college degree is more than $31,000.
It's difficult. I mean, you realize that you're putting yourself in debt for future projections. Like, you know, this is what I may be making in the future. And then as you're looking at a lot of the markets, everything's decreasing because, technology's there so much now. Everybody's doing their own thing.
Quentin Hurd and other students at North Hennepin Community College joined a roundtable discussion about college debt. Representative Melissa Hortman says higher education institutions need to make some cost-cutting moves in addition to a tuition freeze because college debt is crippling students' future.
We have a budget surplus. There's no reason that any college student in Minnesota should pay more for school this year than last year when we have $1.2 billion sitting in the bank.
Hortman is proposing $42 million be used to reduce tuition at four-year state universities.
Now to the vote that Brooklyn Park Mayor Jeff Lundy says is the most important one he will ever make. The Brooklyn Park City Council had to decide whether to approve design plans for the Blue Line light rail extension. Ask some Brooklyn Park Council members, and the city has a lot to gain with the Metro Blue Line extension.
All in all, I really believe it'll be best for Brooklyn Park for the next 50, 60 years.
Talk to others, and Brooklyn Park has a lot to lose.
We're putting trains where people built their homes, planted their families, and never thought this would come to pass.
Councilmember John Jordan says he's been studying light rail for 10 years trying to figure out the benefits.
Here's the only thing I can find that makes sense, the only reason that people will really use this. It's a ride to a Twins game.
Mayor Jeff Lundy says the benefits can be found in economic development.
The apartment buildings that are going up, the luxury apartments, are there because of 610 and light rail. Ask the builder. He will tell you that.
Still others feel in a growing city, which by some estimates is expected to top 100,000 people in 20 years, light rail is a good alternative.
I understand that this is going to negatively affect some people, and that bothers me. I don't want to hurt anybody in my job. But like I said earlier, I have to do what I think is going to be best for the most of us or all of us going forward.
Brooklyn Park approved light rail plans by a 5-2 vote with council members Jordan and Baumeda dissenting. The city will get 5 of the 11 stops for the new line ending at Target's northern campus. Some council members also wanted safety assurances with their vote, calling a pedestrian bridge to cross County Road 81 at the 63rd Avenue stop an absolute must.
Now to the campaign trail and the local vote, where there will be a rematch in House District 36B. Brooklyn Park City Council member Peter Crema, a Republican, announced he will run against DFL incumbent Melissa Hortman. Hortman narrowly defeated Crema in 2014, winning by about 4 percentage points. And the Northwest Metro will have a front row seat to presidential politics. Republican candidate Marco Rubio will open his Minnesota office in Maple Grove. It comes before Minnesota's caucuses on Super Tuesday, March 1st. Rubio is in the Twin Cities today for a fundraising rally in Minneapolis. Coming up, tired of winter? Well, so are people with dry eyes. We'll explain next.
And then a little bit later in sports, Wayzata will take on an unfamiliar foe in the Section 6 Boys Hockey Championship.
But first, cooler temperatures on Wednesday.
Welcome back. Temperatures have been warmer as of late, but make no mistake, we still have another month of winter left to go.
And that means keeping our heaters turned up until spring arrives. And in today's health check, Delane Cleveland looks at the impact a Minnesota winter has on our eyes.
Minnesota's winters, especially after a new snowfall, can have a certain charm. But for about 15% of the population, it's a season that can wreak havoc on their eyes, thanks to dry eye disease.
Dry eye is a syndrome where either the tear quality is not as good as we'd like it to be, or the quantity isn't as much as we'd like it to be, and the tears don't stay on the surface of the eye to stay stable in between our blinks.
Dr. Tina McCarty of the Eye Care Center in Maple Grove says the dry environment created by hot air coming out of our furnaces and from the heaters in our cars are just some of the contributing factors to dry eye.
So when we talk about dry eye, we talk about it being a multifactorial disease, meaning that there's never one reason why patients are dry.
Whatever the reason may be, she says that if dry eye isn't treated, it's not a problem that will go away.
Typically, non-treated dry eye just progressively gets worse, so it causes more fluctuations in the vision, and people will come in with even a vision complaint when it's related to the ocular surface not being healthy.
Dr. McCarty says going to the store and picking up a simple eye lubrication isn't necessarily the solution because not all remedies are created equal.
Some of them have preservatives in them, some of them have redness relievers in them, and different types of tears can also not be the right thing for the patient.
That's why she says it's important to talk to an eye doctor who can diagnose whether you have a chronic problem and take the proper steps to treat dry eye, which can include using the proper artificial tears, single-use contact lenses, and other methods.
We can put certain plugs in the tear drains to actually plug the tears to keep more tears on the surface of the eye.
Bottom line, it's a problem that requires intervention to maintain a healthy eye.
The more dry we are, the more dry we get, and if we don't intervene, it just continues to get worse.
For Health Check, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
And Dr. McCarty says while dry eye disease affects 15% of our population, it's more common in women, especially for those who are age 50 and older. Coming up, collegiate help for a very special prom night.
But first, the Maple Grove boys hockey team gets set to play for a section championship. John Jacobson is in next with sports.
A fun time for hockey fans. Two good local teams are headed to section finals.
One step away, and Breck a chance in Class A tonight to get to their section final as well. Right now, two local boys hockey teams are into section finals this week, including the Wayzata Trojans. Wayzata will play for the Section 6AA championship. The Trojans were back at work Monday, tuning up for the section final game, which is Wednesday evening. Wayzata advanced with a 5-3 semifinal win over Edina on Saturday. It was their fourth win in 4 tries this season against perennial power Edina.
The previous 3 times we played them, we won, but that didn't mean anything going into the game. Sections is always different. They're always going to come out and play tough, knowing that it could be the last game of the year. So, you know, we were all just excited. We all had a few nerves, but I think after the first period, we proved that once we play our game, we can beat any team, and I think that was just a really important win for us.
The Trojans now meet Cretin-Derham Hall. The 4th-seeded Raiders shocked everyone by upsetting previously unbeaten and top-ranked Benilde on Saturday. Though the Wayzata guys don't know a lot about Cretin, they expect a great battle.
I've heard that they're a good team, and we just got to prepare good like we do every game, and it's going to be fun.
From what I know of them, is they're a very well-coached team. I've talked to a couple teams they played, and they got some senior leadership. They've been playing much better the last 2 months, and I think they won 5 of their last 6 or something. So we're focused on what we're trying to do with our game, and you know, we know what their personnel are, and we hope our guys are ready to play on Wednesday.
Wayzata and Cretin-Derham Hall face off at 6 o'clock Wednesday at Mariucci Arena for the Section 6 title. You can watch the game Thursday night at 7 on Channel 12 and our website, 12.tv. Wayzata's first opponent this season at the Turkey Trot Tournament was Maple Grove. As Jay Wilcox reports, the Crimson is ready to play for a section championship too.
Kelly, Janicki fires and scores from out deep.
It was upset Saturday in boys high school hockey. 4th seed Maple Grove taking down number 1 seed Blaine in the Section 5AA semifinals was one of those stunners. But maybe not so surprising to the Maple Grove guys.
I think the whole week of practice we believed that we could beat them, and I think that's what it came down to. We just came in, we worked hard the whole week, and that carried into the game.
Maple Grove had its ups and downs on the way to a 12-13 regular season. But a closer look reveals a lot of close losses to good teams. They won 4 straight heading into the playoffs, too.
We played a really tough schedule this year, and it kind of showed that we didn't have the best record, but we played a bunch of close games, and it just paid off at the end.
As I said to these guys earlier in the year, what this comes down to is these last 3 games, and we are going to be playing our best hockey those last 3 games. And now is when the character is starting to shine and the attitudes are coming together.
The Crimson boys took some inspiration from the state tournament run for the Maple Grove girls, too.
They're a hardworking team, we know it. They're always you can tell they work hard in the off season, during the season, so they deserved it. It was a good season, and it's just tough they couldn't come out on top, but it was a good year for them.
Now Maple Grove takes on Anoka, another under-the-radar team that's playing well for the section title.
I think that we need to play good defense, and we need to stay out of the box for sure. They have a really good power play, and we can't let them expose us.
We'll see if Maple Grove has another big performance straight ahead. Jay Wilcox, 12 Sports.
Maple Grove and Anoka play for the Section 5 AA title Thursday at 7 at Aldrich Arena in Maplewood. The section playoffs in boys basketball get underway this week with some teams playing tonight. Here's a look at the seedings for the local Class 4A sections. Unbeaten Osseo is the top seed in Section 5 4A. Defending champion Champlin Park is the second seed. Mountain View is third with Park Center fourth, followed by Spring Lake Park, Centennial, Irondale, and Roseville. In the quarterfinals Thursday, Osseo will be at home to take on Roseville. Park Center hosts Spring Lake Park. Champlin Park will be at home to take on Irondale. The semifinals are next Monday at the high seeds. Hopkins is the #1 seed in Section 6 4A. Wayzata is second. Cooper is third with Armstrong fourth, followed by Park and 3 Minneapolis schools. The quarterfinals in this section are Wednesday with Hopkins, Armstrong, Cooper, and Wayzata all at home. The semifinals are Saturday at Osseo High School with the first game tipping off at 5:30. Maple Grove is in Section 8 4A this year. Crimson is the #1 seed. Elk River is second with Brainerd third and Rogers fourth. And then St. Cloud Tech, STMA, Buffalo, and Moorhead. That tournament starts Tuesday tonight with Maple Grove hosting 8-seeded Moorhead. Rogers hosts Tech and Buffalo's at Elk River. And the semifinals are Saturday night at St. Cloud State University. In Section 5 2A, Brooklyn Center and Breck are the top 2 seeds in the East subsections. We'll have highlights from section playoff hockey and boys basketball coming up tomorrow.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Coming up, local college students help others prepare for one very special prom night.
We'll be right back. And finally, STEM by STEM, students at Hennepin Technical College are putting together flowers for a very special prom night.
That's right. The silk flowers are being arranged into corsages and boutonnieres for students with special needs between the ages of 15 to 24 years old who will be attending a night to remember. It's a red carpet prom, May 1st at St. Michael Albertville High School. Volunteers, such as the students at Hennepin Technical College, are putting together the flowers, and other volunteers will do things like hair and makeup so that the students can attend the prom for free.
One of our former students had called here and said, would you guys be interested in helping us out at all? Yes. We were so excited.
The silk flowers mean that the prom attendees will be able to keep their corsage or boutonniere as a memento from the prom. And right now they've got about 40 guests registered for that May 1st event, but hundreds of volunteers are already stepping forward to help with the event. Should be a good one.
You didn't even have to think about it much.
That's right. We want to do it. That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
We'll see you back here again tomorrow beginning at 4.